Humanity stepped foot on the moon exactly 53 years ago. But why has no one gone back since that day? This question has been gnawing at the minds of millions of people for years. Some even use this question to put forward a much bigger claim. Maybe we never went at all. But is that really the case? The professor turns to the camera and shakes his head with a smile. Today, we are going to solve one of the most misunderstood questions on the internet together. For a moment, imagine yourself in the year 1969. You are waiting in front of the television, holding your breath along with millions of other people. A giant rocket tears through the sky as it rises. After a journey lasting several days, Neil Armstrong slowly steps down the ladder and says that historic sentence. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. At that moment, it wasn't just a landing on the moon. Humanity had set foot on another celestial body for the first time. The professor draws a thin, glowing line stretching between the Earth and the moon. Now, a small question for you. The moon looks very close to us in the sky, doesn't it? Actually, it's not like that at all. The average distance between the Earth and the moon is approximately 384,000 kilometers. To understand this better, think of it this way. If you were to drive a car non-stop at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour, it would take you about 160 days to reach the moon. The professor laughs and takes out a small toy car. He drives the car from Earth towards the moon, but the car continues off the screen. There you go. The moon is much further away than we think. Moreover, it's not just about the distance. Going to the moon is not like climbing a high mountain. First, you have to escape Earth's incredibly powerful gravity. For this, the Saturn V, one of the most powerful rockets ever built, was developed. It was exactly 110 meters tall, about the height of a 36-story building. The power it generated at the moment of launch was equivalent to millions of horsepower. The professor stands next to the orbit rocket. He tilts his head up. And up, but he can't even see the top of the rocket. People often think that the hard part of going to the moon was the journey. Then he smiles mysteriously. No, the truly hard part was coming back. Because it wasn't enough for the astronauts to just land on the moon. They also had to take off again and dock with the vehicle in lunar orbit. Then they had to complete the hundreds of thousands of kilometers of the return journey. And all of this was done with the computers of that era. Today, the processing power of the smartphone in your pocket is many times greater than the computers used in the Apollo missions. The professor holds up his phone and smiles in amazement. So, the phone in your pocket is more powerful than the computer that took humanity to the moon. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? But now comes the real question. If we managed to do this in 1969, why didn't we do it again? Well, the answer to this question is much more surprising than you think. Most people answer this question incorrectly. Some say, our technology isn't sufficient. Others think, we never went there in the first place. Yet, the real reason is something entirely different. Actually, humanity did not go to the moon just once. Between 1969 and 1972, a total of 6 different Apollo missions successfully landed on the moon. A total of 12 astronauts walked on the lunar surface. So, the problem wasn't being able to get to the moon. The problem was how expensive it was. The Apollo program cost hundreds of billions of dollars in today's money. This was one of the most expensive science and engineering projects in history. So, why did America accept such a massive budget? Because in those years, there was another invisible race on Earth. The space race. The United States and the Soviet Union were competing fiercely to establish dominance in space. Being the first country to reach the moon wasn't just a scientific achievement. It was also a powerful political and technological message sent to the entire world. In 1972, the final Apollo mission was completed. The race was over. There was no longer a strong political reason to allocate that same budget. But that wasn't the only reason. Now ask yourself this question. What awaits you on the moon? There is no atmosphere. There is no air to breathe. There is no liquid water. There is intense radiation. Daytime temperatures can rise to about 110 degrees Celsius. At night, they can drop to 109 degrees Celsius. Moreover, even the smallest technical failure can be fatal for the astronauts. Sending humans is far more risky and far more expensive than sending robots. That is why, in the following years, scientists carried out dozens of robotic missions. Robots do not get tired. They do not eat. They do not need oxygen. And most importantly, They do not risk their lives. But the story doesn't end there. Because in recent years, the moon has once again become one of the world's biggest goals. This time, the goal is not just to go and plant a flag. It is to build permanent bases, to produce water from the ice on the moon. Perhaps one day, to create a starting point for journeys to Mars. Humanity did not return to the moon, not because we couldn't do it. The first journey was to reach the moon. The next journey will be to learn how to live there. In other words, our goal is no longer bigger than just stepping on the moon. It is to be able to stay on the moon. If you enjoyed this video and it opened a new window for you, don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel.